Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is the Haves and the Have-Nots Season 6, Episode 29, and the name of this episode is The Black Man. This was a damn good episode, and I think it's 3 more episodes. It's three episodes left after this one, so, you know, I just say let's buckle up our seats and let's see what the hell's about to go down, because shit was really crazy this episode, so let me begin. The episode picks up where it left off, where we see that Wyatt is on his knees about to give Justin, aka Glenn Close, a Slurpee like 7-Eleven when Jim and Austin walk in. Immediately, Jim knows what the hell is going on, and Justin's talking about something, this is procedure and all this shit. He's saying, ain't no damn procedure. What the hell was my son doing on his knees? What the hell was you about to make my son do? And then the next thing you know, that damn Jim literally picks up Justin, throws him on the table. They start scuffing, going back and forth. And Jim was beating Justin's ass. And then the police chief came in, and he pretty much tells him that he had my son on his knees and was about to make him, you know, it was about to make my son do the unthinkable. And Justin is so irate. Like, he's going off. Like, you're not even playing it cool. You are so to the point where you just losing control, and you just going back, you know, going back and forth. Like, his son's a junkie. I was trying to help him. He's like, oh, you trying to help him by making him suck your, you know what? Like, get the hell out of here with that, man. Who the hell you think you fooling? And it's like Justin don't even realize that he's out of his league, because you dealing with Jim Cryer. Jim Cryer is probably the most misogynistic asshole that ever walked the face of the planet. He doesn't respect women, and he's a very shrewd person, and on top of it, he used to be a judge. So, here it is, you up here arguing procedures and shit. Like, don't you think he knows police procedure? He had police, motherfucker, he had police officers on payroll. Some of them he still got connections to. So, Justin's out of his league, but Justin is still talking big shit. Like, your son's a junkie and blah 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 and all this shit. And then it gets to the point where the damn police chief literally yells at Justin and tells him to get out the room. So he finally leaves, and Austin lets Wyatt know that she's his attorney and they're about to process everything and get him out. But then before that, you know, Jim sits down with Wyatt and he asks Wyatt, were you about to do what I thought you were about to do with that man? And he was like, what did it look like, Dad? And I'm like, see, Wyatt's still talking shit when Wyatt need to shut the hell up. Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for them coming in there to bail his ass out, one, he was going to end up sucking off Justin for that heroin, which I think would have killed him. And then, worst off, he would have took you back to your cell, and the Malone guy would have killed you. So either way, you were going to end up dead. So your father literally came in there and saved your life, and you still running out the mouth talking shit with your dumb junkie ass. So, but Jim was like, look, if you are gay or whatever, I can live with that. That's not my issue. My issue was he about to make you do that under duress? Did he have something over you that he used to get you down there? He says that, Dad, I'm a drug addict, and I'll do whatever I have to do to get my high. He had heroin in his pocket, so yeah, I was about to do what I had to do to get it. I didn't want to do it, but I was about to do it. He says, I'll do whatever to get high. You know, that's just what it is. And he said, and if you wouldn't have took my fucking money, you know, I wouldn't have been put in this situation. Or the fact that you took my cocaine and threw it down the sink. I would have had everything if you would have left me the fuck alone. And then Jim was like, I did that to protect you. You were going to hurt yourself. And he was. Like, Wyatt, I think, is like a ticking time bomb, you know, when it comes down to him being a drug addict. Like, it's a matter of time. Wyatt gonna end up dead one way or the other, because Wyatt is just fucking crazy. And he's so stuck in his shit. But then it gets to the point where, you know, like Jim was like, you know what, let's just get your shit and get up out of here. And after that, we see that Jim goes to talk to the police chief, And he's like, look, I want this asshole run up on charges. This asshole was literally about to make my son suck him off for heroin. And they bring Justin in, and Justin is still irate, still talking shit. Who you gonna believe? His junky ass son, or you gonna believe me? I would never do anything like that. I was trying to help him. And Jim was like, help him my ass. You was trying to help you. You was trying to use my son to, to suck you off, and then you was using drugs to do it. And the police chief asked him to empty his pockets. He's like, I'm not entering my pockets. He's like, look, either you empty your pockets or I'm going to have to suspend you. And Justin is still talking shit. He's still like, you're going to believe this junkie over me? How could you? After all I've done, and you're going to believe a junkie over me? And blah. I'm like, bruh, his father was a former judge. So you don't have no dog in this race. You don't have no leverage or no control, and that's the reason why you're acting out, is because you realize you have no control, and you literally been caught with your pants down, literally, and now you trying to backpedal and you can't. And it got to the point where, the police chief was like, so you're not going to empty your pockets? He's like, no, I'm not entering my pockets. I don't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do this. And he's pretty much suspended his ass, and he's still going off, and he's like, get the hell out of here. Go home. Jim tells the police chief, I'm going to press full charges on this son of a bitch. And what the hell was that? You just suspend him and let him go home? Like, really? Like, what the hell was going on? And besides, what the hell was going? Why isn't there any security cameras in that room? And he said they were turned off. He's like, oh, really? So, what makes you think that this is going to sit well with me? Like, come on. He had him in a room where there were no cameras. Like, it doesn't ring a bell that this really happened. I mean, but the question is, do they have a back camera that Justin don't know about? That would be interesting. But anyway, he goes back and forth with the police chief. He says that, look, I want justice in this situation, and you better do something about it, because I'm not gonna take this lying down. And like the police chief's like, I know you won't, because he knows Jim, and he knows Jim ain't for the bullshit. So we see that happening. Then going outside, that damn Wyatt needs his ass beat. Like, seriously. Because he's still talking shit, still running off at his mouth with his junky ass, and he ain't got the pot to piss in. And because Jim told him to get in the car, this was almost something, I'm gonna walk home. I don't need nothing from you. I'm like, really, bruh? Your father just pulled some strings to get you out of jail, and yet you still think you got options. He pretty much told him that damn fucking property is on the market right now, and you won't be able to get in. You ain't got no home. You don't have anything. Come here and get in the car. And he's still talking shit. And I'm like, see, that's why I said, like, Jim really needs to beat the shit out of Wyatt, because Wyatt's getting on my nerves. Wyatt is so spoiled and so entitled that this fool is still talking shit. But bruh, you are a junkie. Like, you literally have no control over yourself, and you can't even control your own habits. So bruh, you weren't in no position to talk or anything. So he forces his ass in the damn car and says, get your ass in the car. Like, 'cause ain't nobody got time for you and your bullshit. So then we get a scene with RK and Candice. RK tells Candice about his whole deal with Veronica, about how she's using him to go after Jeffrey so they can make Officer Justin jealous or whatever. And Candice says, well, you know that that Jeffrey's a friend of mine. And he was like, oh. But she was like, at this point, I really don't care. Do what you got to do. But then she's saying that I'm about to, find me some gangsters, because I'm going to beat Hannah's ass if she don't give me my fucking money. And even RK was like, yo, how can you be so mean to your mother? You came from her. Like, what, like, why would you want to go this route with your own mom? And she's like, that woman don't give a damn about me. She don't love me or nothing. And he was like, I don't agree with that. Because he says, my mother was a crackhead. And even to the point where she even burnt me with a crack pipe. But I still love that woman. But then she said, my mother is holding $8 million from me. And I'm going to get that money hella high water. And then RK was like, well, damn, for $8 million, I would have killed my damn mother too. Fuck the bullshit. What you going to do? She's like, oh, I'm going to work something out and I'm going to make it happen. You know, and then RK still trying to pull off his pants, trying to have sex with Candice. And Candice was like, boy, get out of here. And he's like, oh, I got your boy. And she was like, oh, you mean little boy? Bye, RK. Bye. I was like, that was like RK still trying to get at Candice, and Candice ain't here for it. Then we get a scene with David in the hospital. He's now able to sit up, but he's still on a lot of painkillers. And we see that FBI agent comes in there, and they tell him that we talked with your son. Your son thinks that your wife, that your wife had did this. And David finally comes clean and says, yeah, I think she did have something to do with this. And she says that and she says that she's harassed me on several occasions. You know, I got a restraining order on her, and the FBI agent was like, yeah, we got record of that. And we see that she still was popping up at the house and all that. He was like, yeah, you know, I love that woman, but she's obviously out of control, and yeah, she lost her cool, and I think, yeah, she definitely did what she did. And of course, they remind him that, she literally burnt your girlfriend alive in her car, and pretty much he was saying that, and pretty much David was like, yeah. But then he lets him know that, look, you can go after her, but I'm going to let you know you're not going to find anything. She's a shrewd attorney, and she knows how to dot her I's and cross her T's. Well, he lets him know that, look, we the FBI. We get our calls from Washington, D.C. The heads, of the police, pretty much the head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I mean, we oversee everything. So I have no problem finding out things. But then we see that David is kind of stumped too, because David got some criminal shit that Veronica is hiding as well. So David knows if he gives up Veronica, he could be also giving up himself at the same time. But he's gotten to the point that, okay, this bitch needs to be stopped because she has done entirely too much. So then we see that Jim brings Wyatt to the house. We see that there's these two security guards, Leo and Mac, that have been hired to watch Wyatt, to make sure that Wyatt don't escape and Wyatt don't go nowhere. And then all of a sudden Katheryn comes downstairs and she was like, hello, Wyatt. And he was like, oh, this bitch. I'm like, really, bruh? You still talking shit? And like, Wyatt is so far gone that killing him will be easy, because Wyatt is just completely screwed up. And she says that I had the room, just your room is upstairs to the left, and I had it made for you and everything. And he was like, oh yeah, I see what you're doing, you whore, and just still running his mouth and shit. And like, she pretty much Jim tells his ass, go upstairs to your room and shut up. And, he tells the guards, make sure he doesn't leave or go anywhere. Keep your eye on him everywhere he goes. Don't let him out this damn house. And I'm like, see, Wyatt is so fucking stupid. You do not realize you are about to be, you pretty much assaulted a Malone. So there's a hit out on your ass, and that's the reason why he's trying to keep you there, to save your fucking life. And yet you so far gone, wanting to get your junkie itch, that you literally are like about to commit suicide. And because I was saying that shit that Justin had was going to kill Wyatt. Like, Wyatt, this motherfucker don't like you, and he knows that Jeffrey's still in love with you, and he wants you eliminated. So what makes you think he's gonna give you some good shit? So he was gonna get killed either way, and Jim, pretty much pulled him from the trenches. So it's good he got him there. But then after they sent Wyatt away, we see that Katheryn and Jim go back and forth. She's like, "Oh, so that's your plan, huh?" He was like, "Yeah, Katheryn, it's my plan. What you gotta say now?" And then next thing you know, she starts pulling up all these pictures like, here's you with this whore, you with this whore, you with this whore, you with this whore. She says they're doing an investigation at my hotel, and turns out there's a prostitution ring that's going on, and you have been implemented in it. And he was like, well, yeah, I had fun with that whore, and yeah, this whore was good, but this woman was not a whore. She's a business associate. She's the one that's helping me to keep your ass out of jail. Oh, but this whore, oh yeah, she does that thing that I like and all. She's like, oh, you're disgusting, Jim. I mean, because Jim is a chauvinist. He don't respect women at all. And and like pretty much they're going back and forth or whatever. And then the next thing you know, we see that Katheryn gets a call, and it's Roderick. And he's saying that, there's some information I want to give you, but I don't want to give it over the phone. Could you come in and, I have a room and we can sit down and can talk about what's been going on. So, of course, she's, we definitely saw from the last episode, she's intrigued by Roderick. So she pretty much, okay, fine, I'll come up and meet up with you or whatever. And then next thing you know, Jim was like, so is Hannah, so you need to call Hannah. And she's like, I ain't calling Hannah. For what? She's like, because Hannah's supposed to be bringing back the money, from her account. She says that, well, you just need to wait on Hannah and let Hannah do what she's gonna do. And he's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, why not? He says, please, I don't trust that bitch, not as far as I trust your ass. I was like, oh, Jim really talking big shit. Well, she says, well, I guess you're gonna have to wait until she gets to the bank. You just gonna have to wait, And she says, he's like, man, you and that woman. She's like, yeah, me and that woman. Got up and she left, and then he checks his phone and was like, who the hell is Roderick? I was like, so he got tabs on Katheryn's ass too. And I thought that was pretty funny. Alright, so let's see. Alright, yeah. So then we get a scene with sorry about that, y'all. So then we get a scene where Jeffrey is pulling into his father's house, and he's being followed by that damn Justin, and Justin is driving the same truck that he used to knock Veronica off the road. So he's like, so what is it? You're following me? He's like, I'm always following you. Like, Justin is still doing the most. And then he pretty much says that I had Wyatt in the interrogation room, and he tried to seduce me. I told him I had drugs, and he was trying to come after me or whatever. And then Jeffrey's looking at this shit, and I'm like, Jeffrey, if you believe this shit, you the dumbest motherfucker walking. But he was like, you're lying. You ain't lying about the drugs part, but him trying to seduce you, I know you're lying. And he's like, and he's saying, and she's like, you pretty much did the same thing you did to me, you're doing to him. So I know what you're doing, and I know what you like to do. He's like, look, I'm not lying. I had him on his knees. He's like, I know you did. I know you had him on his knees, but he ain't get on his knees willfully. And let's be real, I know how you operate. So but he's like, but could you talk to Wyatt and get him to change his story? He's like, no, I'm not talking to Wyatt, and you need to get the hell So, like, he literally just blows his ass off and was like, you know what, I'm done with you and your bullshit. You need to get the hell out of here and you need to go some damn where. And he's like, but Jeffrey's like, leave! Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, and, because Jeffrey ain't falling for the bullshit. He knows that you a nasty motherfucker and how you like to use your badge to harass and subdue the your clients or the prisoners. Because at the end of the day, these are still human beings and you treat them less than human. So Jeffrey was like, fuck you, Justin, I'm through, leave me the hell alone, go the fuck away. He goes into the house and shit, and Veronica's already sitting up in the damn house, just chilling. You know, and he pretty much, and then she just goes off on her whole little fucking tirade. It's like, he had this whore living in my house, you know, had her living all nice. But, you know, of course it's some ugly ass furniture, but the place was nice. You know, this was the house I always wanted, but he told me no, we couldn't get it. And then, you know, here it is. He ends up getting the house and he moves this whore in here with him. And she says that I let him be the man, you know, in my 20s and in my 30s. But in my 40s, I was like, I need to start taking charge. And he just can't take it. You know, why is it that men can't, you know, take... And she was like, never mind. You wouldn't understand a man unless he was on top of you or some shit like that. And I'm like, Veronica, you homophobic whore. You need to stop with your bullshit. Oh yeah, she was like, well yeah, you wouldn't know anything about a man unless he was on top of you. I'm like, she's doing too much. But then, you know, she was like, but what is it that men do not respect strong black women? And here it is, your father ran off to Maggie Day, then he ended up messing around with this whore, and then he lets Jim Cryer run him around like he's a little office boy, you know, and like he would never listen to me and all this shit. And then he was like, what is it about him that he had a great woman, but yet he kept running around with these bitches? And like, Jeffrey flips the script. He's like, you're the bitch. And pretty much he says, you treated him like hell, and all that man ever did was love you. And first of all, he would have never messed with Maggie Day, you know, until you literally pushed him into our arms. Because at the end of the day, you the one who started having sex with Benny, and that's what led him to Maggie. And then he was saying that men have no problems with a strong black woman when she's honest, when she's loyal, and when she's stable. Stable. I was like, Jeffrey, you better turn that damn knife. He's like really getting at her too. And then pretty much he was saying that, you know, Dad, at the end of the day, was the good person. And I seen how you will always try to take him down. And she's saying, and he pretty much told her that you're the problem. You've always been the problem. And then Veronica was like, if you want my son, I would have somebody cut your throat. A stable one. I'm like, Veronica, you and these play on words need to quit. But then she was like, but a mother's love has her limits. And he's like, get the hell out of here. Go. She's like, okay, I'm leaving. But tell your friend nice truck. So she's letting him know, I know he tried to run me off the road. So Veronica gonna do some shit to Justin. And I'm just waiting to see what the fuck she's about to do next. So then we get a scene with Derek and Hannah. They just had breakfast. And we see that this damn Derek keeps on trying to put these moves on Hannah. You know, they keep kissing and everything. But Hannah's pulling back like, nah, I'm not doing that until I'm married. You know, I'm not trying to go down that road. She's like, but we just kissing. He's like, yeah, but kissing leads to everything. I'm like, Hannah letting me know, like, yeah, my box is hot. And I'm trying to keep myself calm because I ain't trying to cross that line yet. But I'm like, Hannah, it's long overdue, girl. You know, God would understand. Get yours, baby. But that's just me. But but here it is, you know, she's talking about, but look, I'm a mature woman. I know what I want, and I know what I need. And he's like, won't you tell me what you need? And I'm like, Derek, you need to quit being this old Mac Daddy and shit. But it will be really crazy if Derek is the actual guy that raped Hannah. That still is in the back of my mind, as it is all of you. So we're still waiting to see what's happening with that. But we see that he still keeps trying to make moves, and next you know, there's a knock on the door, and it's Candice. And I'm like, yo, this will be real fucking crazy if Derek is actually if Derek turns out to be Candice's father. I'm like, that will be some insane shit. But she comes in and she's like, oh yes, I'm here to see my mother. And she's like, she's in there, and like he tells Hannah Candice is here. And you can immediately cut the tension with a knife between Hannah and Candice. So Derek excused himself and lets them talk. So she sits down and she was like, well, Mama. And she was like, Mama? When you start calling me Mama, I thought it was Hannah. Oh, did you forget about that? And she tries to play this old thing like, look, I really need your help. You know, I really need your help, you know, I really need this money and all this shit. And she's like, you ain't getting this money. And like, you know, they just keep going back and forth or whatever. And Candice and like Hannah was like, what can I do for you? Why are you here? You know, she's like, did you come here to check on me? I doubt that. But she's like, I'm fine though. But what can I do for you? And she's like, I'm trying to be nice. You know, I really do wanna. I really am glad that you're okay. And Hannah was like, girl, you don't give a damn about me. And she was like, well. And then she's saying that, look, I really need that money. You know, because last night the guy that came in here, I owe him that money, and he wants everything I have. And Hannah was like, bitch, you don't have anything. And she's like, look, he says he wants that money, he's going to kill me. And she's like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. She's like, but I thought you cared about me. She says, I do care about you. I've shown it time and time again that I care about you. But one thing I'm not gonna do is lie, cheat, or steal for you. And that's what you're asking me to do. This money belongs to the criers, and they're going to get their money back, and that's the end of it. And then the next thing you know, we literally seen Candice go from this, playing this little innocent girl, to she literally morphed into a demon right before her mother's eyes and was like, give me the money, Hannah, or I'm going to send some guys in here to fuck you up. And she's like, oh, there it is right there. There it is. That's who came up in here. That's who I wanted to see. And she's like, I will have somebody come up in here every single night. And then all of a sudden Hannah was like, oh, you the one that sent that man in here to mess with me. And she's like, give me the money, Hannah. Last chance. And I'm like, yo, this fucking Candice is an evil bitch. And I'm so here for Candice getting dealt with now, because, bitch, you gone too far. You already have been, ever since Quincy died, she has been broken, and she's just been on this nuclear mission ever since. And she keeps on blaming her mother for little Quincy dying. I'm like, no, bitch, it's your fault. If you would have never did that shit with War would have never been after you, and pretty much your son got caught in the crossfire because he was there trying to kill you and trying to find your ass. Like, you need to take responsibility, the fact that because of your lifestyles while your son is dead, where Hannah tried to protect him, and so happens he got shot instead of her. But I know at the end of the day, Hannah would have been glad to take a bullet for that baby. But yeah, she literally turned into a demon, and she's like, oh yeah. She's like, get the hell out of my house. And she's like, give me my money. And you just see Candice has this evil look on her face. She's like, yeah, what's your name, demon? In the name of Jesus, what's your name, demon? Who are you, demon? And then eventually, Candice just got up and walked out. Because I'm like, when you call out a demon, that's when the demon leaves. So I'm like, see, I know about that, you know, growing up in church. Like, yeah, you call out the demon, yeah, and you pretty much ask, what's your name, demon? And you could tell it was like Candice was possessed by a demon. And then she's like, okay, I'm gone. And then she just gets up and walks away. So we saw that go down. Then we get the last scene where Katheryn goes to see Roderick. You know, she's like, why am I here? You know, he's like, I wanted to talk to you. But she's like, but why here? Why couldn't you just tell me on the phone? He's like, I needed to see you. And then the next thing you know, the two of them start getting it in, and they rolling around in the bed with each other, you know, and that's where the episode ended. I was like, Katheryn, don't fall for the bullshit, because Roderick is in it to take from you. So I hope you use your brain and don't get caught up in his bullshit. But that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. But yeah, this episode was crazy as hell, and there's 3 more episodes left. So yeah, shit's about to get live on the Have and the Have-Nots. So subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots. So until next time, everybody, take care.